Well, they did it again, losing game number 4 this season. Clemson now is 1-4 in their past 5 home games, going all the way back to South Carolina last year. They lose to SMU in Death Valley, 35-24. And it was just it was the defense. I was really excited about Tom Allen coming over. Tom Allen has a history of doing very, very well. He's at Clemson. This is his very first season. He didn't get, from what I understand, he didn't bring one assistant over. He inherited a coaching staff, and it looks like the defense from last year. You know, normally when you hire a defensive coordinator, they bring in who they need to bring in to implement their game plan. Well, that didn't happen. You change one person. Everybody loved to make Wes. I heard little comments made about him. Oh, Chubby, it's time for him to go. Oh, Doughboy, he's got to go. Let me tell you right now, that the vast majority of this coaching staff on both sides of the football is not Clemson level coaches, and that's why you're watching Clemson lose 4 out of their last 5 home games. So it's sad. It's sad. I will tell you this: Christopher Vizina was not Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence, but the guy was 29 of 42 and threw 317 yards and 3 touchdowns. Y'all, Christopher Vizina was not terrible. He was not. He was not terrible. The play calling, I'm not a fan of. This offense is just. This offense looks like it's 5 or 6 years behind the rest of college football. We have receivers dropping balls at times. We have offensive line can't block, and we have one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. He has had success so much. He comes to Clemson. He had last year where he started to get them better, and now they're back to playing terrible. Folks, I'm sorry. I just don't believe that's Matt Luke. I know. I just don't believe it. I just absolutely don't believe it. When you have years of excellence, you have years of incredible results, and you come to Clemson and it's not working. You have a defensive coordinator who did not bring one assistant. I don't even think he brought a towel boy with him. And this team looks the way it does because it does not have the coaching staff to develop these guys to compete at a high level. And so, congratulations to SMU. They came in. They've already lost 2 games on the season. They're 3-0 in the ACC. Clemson falls to 2-3 in the ACC, 3-4 overall. This is just. I picked SMU to win this ball game because, well, my gut told me to. And let me explain how a gut works. You pay attention to something for a long period of time, or you experience something for an amount of time, and then all of a sudden it forms instincts. And we call it a gut. We call it instincts. We call it trusting yourself, whatever it is. But it's that same instinct, that same logic that tells you, hey, you know, that last time I walked down that dark alley, I got robbed. Or the last time I parked in a parking lot late at night, came out late at night and there was really bad lighting, I got mugged. I'm not going to do that again. Okay? You get where I'm going here. Clemson has proven to me they can't win. They used to not only they couldn't win the big game for the past 4 years. I think they've had one top 10 win since actually, excuse me, I believe it's the first round of the playoffs in 2019 when they beat Ohio State to eventually go lose to LSU. That it was then, and then I want to say there was the win against Notre Dame in 2023 in Death Valley. Other than that, Clemson can't beat a big football team, and now they're losing to everybody, unless you're the bottom feeders of college football. And so I'm sitting here as someone who's pulled for them way before a lot of these guys, way before all of these guys that's playing for them were born. And I will continue to pull for Clemson. I'm from that area, but I'm telling you right now, if you are still believing even a little bit that this football team still has it somewhere, and this is just a rough patch, I say this with as much humility and as much kindness and not trying to be a jerk. I am telling you, I don't know why this program has come off the rails. It has been off the rails, but they got lucky last year. They got lucky. They did not earn that trip to the ACC championship. You know it. I know it. We all know it. Almost blew it against this team. And every time they played a really good football team, they lost. Well, there's some good football team last year. I'm sorry. I just don't think so. You saw what happened to them once they got into the first round of the college football playoff. They got the crap beat out of them by a guy who's no longer the coach of his football team. So I'm saying this to everyone in the Clemson community. When you think about the 6 consecutive playoffs, you need to remember that coaching staff has not been at Clemson in years, about the time that things started to fall off. And I am calling. I can't do anything. You can't do anything. But more and more people, and I hope the donors, I'm talking about the ones that are like, they have more money than they know what to do with. I hope the donors start pulling the strings. Started going, you see all of that money over there with all the zeros on it? Yeah, you're going to get nowhere near it anymore until this coaching staff is overhauled, and not with former players and not with people who maybe show some zeal and maybe one day will be a good football coach. No, you go out and get the very best. You allow the offensive coordinator to bring in his people. You allow the defensive coordinator to bring in his people. And if that means there's not one former Clemson player or one former somebody y'all thought a lot of on that sideline, so be it. We're not gathering. We're not, that's not the goal. The goal is to win football games. So I am telling you folks, if you'll listen to me, that's totally fine. If you won't, that's totally fine. But I will say this, 3 years ago when I started this channel, I warned you that Clemson's coaching staff was full of people who, I'm not saying they'll never be good coaches. In fact, it's to their detriment that they already have this level of a job and they haven't had any training, most of them, development to actually become better coaches themselves. It's hurting them too. But I warned you. I warn you emphatically, Clemson's coaching staff was full of coaches that were not Clemson level coaches, and I was told I was wrong. And today I get to look in this camera and ask you, was I wrong? We're 3-4. I mean, 3-4. And the only thing that's going to fix this is coaching changes across the board. Across the board. And Coach Swinney, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this to Coach Swinney. Coach Swinney said way back when, I'm not an X's and O's guys. Or X's and O guy. I don't know why I keep saying guys. I've said that a couple of different times. I don't know why. I'm not an X's and O's sort of guy. All right, Coach Sweeney, you want to have success like you used to have it? You know, the success you had 7 years ago, 9 years ago? First, I know you're the head coach and you can do whatever you want to do. You did not gain success by calling plays. You didn't. You admitted it. I remember it. A lot of people remembers it. So you're already the head coach of the Clemson Tigers. You've already won 2 national championships. How did you do that? You hired some really good people. Do that again. Allow them to run their respected units. If they're an OC, they're an OC. They bring in all their people. And if that means there's no Clemson players as an assistant, well, oh well. And you hire a defensive coordinator and allow him to bring in all his people. And unless they're doing something stupid, which, by the way, I can't imagine it being any worse than what it is right now. You make really good hires, allow them to bring in their people, and then step back and collect the winnings. People will be fine. And Coach Sweeney, if he saw this, he'd go, "Who is that guy? I could care less what he says." All I'm going to say is, these hires have not panned out. They have not panned out. It's time for an overhaul. And what Clemson's offense was, and hearing little comments of, well, Riley has to learn the Clemson offense. Clemson offense is not good. It's not winning games. And now the defense is bad. So you want to fix Clemson? Realize, and I don't mean this rude, but we live so much in the past, and I've been warning y'all about that. We've been to 7 playoffs. Yeah, six of those in a row. Different coaching staff, folks. A different coaching staff. I was a totally different coaching staff who hasn't been at Clemson in years. Years. So you want to fix them? You're going to have to go out and you're going to have to get the best coaches all the way around. But now I don't know if they'll want to come to Clemson. And I warned you of that. Once you have momentum, you have to keep it going. That's why everybody was telling me 2 and 3 and 4 years ago, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. Hey, you're not going to win national championship every year. And I was like, I get that. But I'm telling you, this is not going to work out for you. I'm telling you. This is not going to come to fruition. This is not going to yield what you think it's going to yield. You sitting there acting like, oh, if I just be good for right now and chill out, and everything's going to work out. You're 3 and 4, and you just lost your 4th out of the last 5 ball games at Death Flippin' Valley. That's the reason why people can't troubleshoot problems in life, is because at the first sign of problems, they don't need to freak out, but they do need to troubleshoot. You don't need to assume that everything's okay. I know this from performing maintenance on my house. Every time I hear a little noise and I don't deal with it, it's fine. I'm overreacting. I don't need to lose sleep at night and start fretting and going, oh no, we're going to have to redo the house, spend $30,000. Oh no. That's an overreaction. I don't need that. But at least take my lazy tail, grab a ladder, and crawl into the ceiling and find out what it is. It may be a $50 fix that if I don't fix it, it will turn into a $10,000 problem. A little leak will do a lot. And that's what happened in Clemson. And I was saying, hey, guys, I know it's just a little drip, but you let that get inside your walls, it will ruin the studs, the drywall, the shingles. God forbid it interacts with the electrical. You're going to start having mold problems. If you have carpet, it'll ruin it. Oh, it gets down under your hardwood floors, it'll ruin it. All of a sudden, you've got to tear up the floor. It's a total mess. All you had to do was maintenance it. That's what Clemson football was. And I mean, ripping it, going, y'all need to pay attention. You need to understand this is not going to work out how you think it's going to work. They're 3-4 tonight. Meanwhile, Kirk Cignetti takes over one of the worst programs in college football history, transfer portaling it up. He has no 5 stars. I think he has about 7 4 stars on his team and a bunch of transfer portal guys. If he marched himself into Clemson right now, he would beat Clemson so bad, some of y'all might even stop pulling for them. And he's 64 years old. This is his first D1 job at a major school. Now, I know that he took over James Madison when they were FCS and then went to FBS. But that's not a major, and I have respect for James Madison. But it's not a major D1 school. This guy's ripping it up. How is it that a man who is 64 years old, 9 years older than Dabo Swinney, has such fire? How is it that he is getting people to play for him up at Indiana? And he's even publicly said, listen, I'm not worried about stars. I'm worried about finding the right players that I can. Don't crap yourself. If you're driving home and you're listening to this right now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, put a trash bag under you. I don't want you to empty out your innards onto the fabric of your car. All right? I don't want that for you. Especially if you're coming home from the game, you're mad enough. I don't want you to soil your seats. But this is something that Clemson doesn't understand. I want to find players I can develop. That's like speaking a foreign language to me. Hearing about development. I'm going to tell you what we hear about at Clemson. I'm going to tell you what we see out of Clemson. We see losing and losing a lot now. Losing and losing a lot, and this could have been prevented. Now, I'm going to go into the comments section here, and then we're going to talk about the game a little more. There's a ton of you in here. Andrew Roof is in here. Thanks for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Surprisingly good effort by Vizina. Offensive issue is Riley getting cutesy with play calling on short down situations. Just stick to the basics, and you pick up several more first downs. It goes beyond that to me, Andrew. I just think this culture that we thought that we had, this culture is not a winning culture, folks. This is not a winning culture. Too many people on this sideline does not know how to coach. Some of them may know how to play. Some of them may have played at a high level. Some of them may I'm going to leave that there. They don't know how to coach, folks. They don't. And last time I checked, Nick Saban wasn't the greatest football player ever in the world, but good grief, he can coach. And when you're coaching, that is what you need. It doesn't matter if were a good football player if you played in the NFL. That doesn't make you a good coach. Get up here to the comments section. There's so many of you in here. I'm not going to be able to answer everyone, but I'm going to try to go through. Sorry, something really weird going on here. Go down all the way to the bottom. That offensive line is so bad. Yeah. And what bothers me, John Answer, good to see you, my man. What bothers me in here? I'll put a background on that. I changed the background and it didn't change. Anyway, you didn't come here to discuss my background. The offensive line is so bad, and Matt Luke has been unbelievable everywhere else. Folks, that's how bad it is at Clemson. Good to see you. Jay became a member. Thank you, my friend, for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Hey, folks, listen, I know there's a bunch of you in here. You're like, hold on, he's about to do an infomercial. Yes, I am. I'm about to do an infomercial. Just wait a second. If you love talking Clemson football, even when it's bad, first, I hope you'll subscribe. It's free. Pass this along in the forums. You want this channel to grow. You're like, hey, I like this guy. This guy has taken a lot of heat, but he stuck to his guns. He didn't fold like a lawn chair. He didn't give in to the peer pressure of everybody telling him he wasn't really a Clemson fan. He didn't crack when some. I'm going to leave that there. But anyway, I didn't. I had to take it, and I wish I were wrong. Okay. Well, that said, if you like independent content creators who's not being swayed by anyone, I hope you'll subscribe, and I hope you'll pass along to every Clemson fan you know. Next up, you want to join on a monthly basis, there is a join button right under this video. Check it out. It's really cheap. Jay, thank you for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Last but not least, go check out my other channel, another college football podcast. I predicted that Georgia would win today. They did. I predicted, well, on this channel, Clemson would lose. They did. But predicted Oklahoma would win. I think we pretty much knew that. They did. Thank you so much. Dabo left all in and best is the standard and turned it into I make money. I'm going to tell you this, folks. A lot more people are coming around to that. Whether that's how he truly feels or not, a lot of people are feeling that way. David Lusk, I'm seeing 5 wins this season, maybe. Hope they beat Furman in South Carolina. Ruby is 100%. Let me see. Dabo gives ex-players jobs because he made millions off their backs. Ruby Ridge, good to see you in here. Mr. Getback, strength and conditioning is poo-poo. Can he change his staff now, or is it too late because I know the college football rules are weird now? At this point, he doesn't need to make any changes because I don't know who he's going to bring in at the last second. What I would do is I would already have my fillers out, my feelers. My accent got me fillers. Is that like a filling in your teeth? I know. I pick up my own accent. But he needs to have his feelers out, and he needs to figure out who he can get in and bring them in, let them bring their people. As long as their people are good people and it's not a bunch of friends and family deal. We don't need any more friends and family hires. No more of those. Those are not working out. Get them in here and let them do their thing. Because out of respect to Coach Swinney, if he is influencing the play calling significantly after many years ago, before he had success saying, I'm not an X's and O's sort of guy. And that's when he had his success because he allowed them to do what they supposed to do. Just go back to that. And nobody will be mad because you won't be 3-4. You're probably looking at 6-1, maybe even 7-0 right now. That's the power of hiring good people and trusting them. Let me see. Bunch of you are in here. Good grief. Thank you so much. It's so good to see y'all. I'm not mad anymore. I'm just sad and want us to lose more so real change will happen because we won't get back to real winning until we make a major change. Impact Poker, I agree with you 100%. A lot of people goes, whoa, hold on. Real fans doesn't want us to lose. What did going to that ACC championship that we should have never even, they shouldn't even let us drive past Bank of America Stadium. What did that do for Clemson? It gave them a false sense of accomplishment. Now, I know a lot of people, I'm going to say this. I'm not as pessimistic as you think I am. In everyday life with things that are like, for instance, if you find out one of your family members is sick, folks, you better be praying. You better be optimistic. You better be hopeful. And meanwhile, you better be doing everything you possibly can to physically fight the illness. Okay? In football, we tie up a bunch of this. And I'm going to be careful how I say this, but in football, we get all, emotional and everything. A lot of football, yeah, there's emotion there, but a lot of it comes back to doing the right things, the basic things, making good hires, trusting those hires, focusing on good development, good scheme. I mean, this is not a thing like you're fighting a fatal disease and you're sitting there praying to God, literally, that He'll help you. A lot of this is just making the proper hires. And yes, folks, it is that easy. It is that easy. It is that easy. And there's schools out there who it's clicked with them and they made the right hire. Indiana went after Signetti. Vanderbilt went after Clark Lee, gave him a chance. Look what he's doing. If Vanderbilt played Clemson right now in Death Valley at night with everybody in Death Valley, half of them hammered, drunk, screaming, raising Cain and going and everything, Vanderbilt beat the crap out of Clemson right now. Those banners of all those playoffs Clemson went to many, many years ago now, that wouldn't intimidate them a bit. They'd be like, that's really nice. That's history. I heard about that. I was in elementary school when that happened. Now I'm in college. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we're going to beat them. It's called making good hires, and not all of you. I'm not going to overgeneralize here. There's a solid amount of you in here. You still don't understand that good hires across the board produce winning. It will produce winning. And you have been, for some reason, you think it's really, really hard. And I will tell you this, as Clemson continues to go down the Dookie chute, it will get very difficult to get anyone to come coach here. But if Clemson loses out the rest of this season, but it forces Coach Swinney to realize the error in his ways and then he needs to overhaul the team and then trust his hires to do what they're supposed to do. And next year would be a wash, folks. Next year's going to be a wash. Even if he made the right hires, it would probably be a wash. You'd be fortunate to get 8 wins. And I hadn't even really seen the schedule. I know we start off at LSU. But with that said, you would see a different Clemson football team. And in a few years, we'd probably be sitting here going, oh, man, I hated when everything went down. But you know what? We hit rock bottom. Coach Swinney made the right changes. He realized, man, I can't keep doing this. I tried to do the right thing, tried to give these former players a chance. I tried to give some of these high school coaches that I trust a chance at this. But it was just too much for them. And I realized I tried to do a good thing and it turned into a bad thing. I hate it. I'm going to change. I'm going to make some change. I'm going to make a lot of changes. And then I'm going to trust my hires to do their job. If I bring in an offensive coordinator, and there's rumors going around, that's the reason I'm bringing this up. I don't know this for a fact, so I'm just speculating. But I'm not going to tell the offensive coordinator to run the game plan that's, made us go downtown. It's made us go down the Dookie chute, so to speak, in college football. I'm not going to get in. No, I'm going to hire him to run his offense because I think his offense. No, I don't think. I know his offense is relevant in today's game, not 10 years ago, not 6 years ago, not 4 years ago. Right now, we're bringing in the best people to guide this team. If it takes Clemson losing the rest of this season for those proper changes to be made, bring on the losses, baby. Because go ahead and get the losses out of the way so you can get back to really winning. And the next time you play Georgia, you'll actually have a shot. You know, we haven't beat Georgia since it was before my 9-year-old was born. He's about to turn 10. You realize that? That's sad, isn't it? That is truly sad. Hadn't beat Georgia in forever. You want to talk about a culture? There is a mindset among the fans. Well, you lose to Georgia. What? Excuse me? That's not how Clemson climbed the mountain. Clemson would meet you anywhere in a parking lot and beat you. They'd play you at your home field on homecoming and beat you by 3 or 4 touchdowns and walk out laughing how they didn't even break a sweat. And when I saw that shift in the fan base, I knew that this culture's become lazy. This culture is not a winning mindset. This culture is not championship football, and we see it. We see it everywhere. Joel Adams says, Brian, your candid truth telling about this program is the only thing keeping me sane. Clean house, no more Nepo babies. Joel Adams, glad you're in here. Good to see you, my man. Elwood Drummond, my old buddy Jonathan. How long will Clemson put up with this? I don't know, dude. O-line coach first, please. What's up, B? Good to see you, Chops. I pumped the brakes on that, Chops, because Matt Luke's been unbelievable everywhere he goes. That's how bad Clemson is right now. Could be wrong. Is Clemson going to start losing more committed players after this season ends in a disappointment? Probably. Glad to be here. I was skeptical of your channel at first, but you were dead on. This literally hurts. I can't stand seeing my Tigers look this bad. It's not good. Hey, listen, can I tell you this? I appreciate you being honest that you were skeptical about me. Thank you. I mean that. Like, I wished you were here in person and I could shake your hand. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I've had to put up. Dude, I have been in public in Clemson and had someone stare me down because they're mad at me while I'm holding my little boy's hand. I'm not kidding. That happened in Clemson. And it was 2 years ago. And I got in the car and looked at my wife and sniggered. And she said, what are you laughing about? I said, there's one of my fans right there. I said, I can tell that guy, he's watched my show. And he's staring me down. He stared me down as I walked in a Clemson store. He stared me down as I walked out of a Clemson store. And I knew it. And I've had that happen to me a couple of times, and I know it. I don't even know the dude. I know it. Because I've seen it before. I've encountered it. I've had people walk up to me and go, you know what? I agree with a few things that you say. Had someone literally walked up to me, and you could tell they really didn't like me for some reason. They just want to come say, hey, yeah, I've watched your show. But I'm glad that you said, hey, you know what? I was skeptical of you. But, hey, you're dead on. Thank you. That takes a big man to say that. Thank you. Wish we had more people like you. Glad you're here. Looks like we're going to the toilet bowl. Helm Redmond, good to see them. Good to see you supporting on a monthly basis. Helm Redmond's a supporter of the channel. Dabo didn't give ex-player jobs because he made millions off their back. Chill with the cynicism. He's just wrong and not a very good evaluator of coaches or coaching potential. But Chase Henderson, my old buddy. CV did not play bad. You're right. He didn't. He threw for over 300 yards. I cannot express how frustrating it is to see the results of when we throw the ball downfield versus when we just throw short. They finally decided to throw a ball to Tristan Smith. That's the thing, Chase. This sideways stuff, us at Clemson, we're sick of it. You're sick of it. It's overused. Anytime you overuse any sort of play or set of plays that are a lot alike, Chase is a former football coach, former football player. He knows this very well. If I'm scheming defense for them, I'm like, they're doing it again? Oh, guys, we won't even have to work hard this week. We know what they're doing. We'll just adjust. They're going to keep doing it. Just keep them in front. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. When he threw it downfield, my friend. Yeah, he looked pretty good. There's something about Clemson not wanting to throw downfield a lot more. I miss the days of Steve Spurrier that just come out when he was at Florida. Dude, he'd throw downfield all over you. People's like, he won't stop. It's like, yeah, it's working. He's not here to make friends and win friends and what's that? Influence people, Dale Carnegie. He's not, he's not here for that. Steve Spurrier came here to not only beat you, but to humiliate you. He wanted you to hate him by the time he walked out of that stadium. Like, I hate that man. And he's like, good. That means I did my job. I don't know what our problem is. Good to see you, Chase. Thanks for supporting on a monthly basis, man. Good friend here. Appreciate you. I'm going to scroll on down. Let me see. A bunch of people in here. Well, worst year for me as a Tiger. Been a fan since 2004. Man, I know, man. Yep. Let me see. Chase says, I don't want to hear anything about the portal anymore. Today shows me it's the X's and O's and not the Jimmies and the Joes. I don't mind if we went and pulled some players here or there, but I agree with you, Chase, 100%. I've said this for weeks now. I even did a video, folks, just a couple of days ago. I think it was this week. Maybe it was last week. Time's running together for me. I said that you can go portal it up, but if you don't have the coaching, Riley needs to go. He's the QB coach, and you see the same bad habits in CV as Cade. Who should the OC be? Guy at Oregon looks pretty doggone good. According to how Newhustle plays out the rest of this season, that would be someone I would try to get him and his blonde hair over here, his swooped hair, come call offense for us. Those are two guys right off the bat I can think of. I would start trying to tap into some of Kirk Cignetti's coaches who knows how to evaluate players and develop them. I know that's outside of the OC. But we need guys who knows how to, if you had to go develop a bunch of 3-stars or go to the portal and pull certain types of players, they would know exactly how to, who, when, where, and how to pull them into Clemson. Again, Indiana, an embarrassment of a football team. I mean, these guys are, I mean, they're hammering. I mean, they're number 3 in the country right now. They won 38-13 today. Yeah, it was MSU. Yeah, Indiana used to drop that game. And by the way, Clemson would have probably lost to MSU today. Sad. The one time they used Tristan Smith properly, he scores. Yeah. When a guy is 6'5", folks, I want to tell you, I've been complaining about this. They are running plays. If you've met me in person, most of you haven't, I'm barely 5'9". Okay. They're running plays to 6'5", 220-pound Tristan Smith that they would run to a slot receiver my size. And then you finally throw it up. Come on, y'all. Joe Till. Joe, it's good to see you in here. Good to see you. I should see Mike tomorrow. Mike and Joe are brothers, and Mike and I go to church, and Joe is his brother. And Mike told Joe about me. Joe, I appreciate you for tuning in. Yeah, Tommy West days 100%. Yep. Oh yeah, this is getting bad. This is getting bad. Clemson 003. Where was Keith Adams today? Where's he been for the past season and a half? The guy was splitting reps with Shipley and Maffa and doing good and giving them a break when needed. He touches the football. He does well. I mean, this is not good. Jim here says, great show. Thank you so much. Riley's been the biggest disappointment since the 80s. Mackie Powell says, defense can't make a play. I'm a Georgia fan, but I never thought I'd see Clemson have a 4-loss season. Had a 4-loss season, believe it or not, last year, and they had a 4-loss season the season before. And they're already at 4 losses right now is what's shocking everybody, that they've played 7 games and they're at 4 losses. And I don't mean that rude towards you, Maria. I'm glad you're in here. See, Clemson, I told you, Clemson fans. I told you. Folks, I'm serious. I'm going to keep bringing this up. Do you realize that there were comments that were actually held by YouTube? They were so vile that it wouldn't even make it to me unless I went to a special place within the YouTube studio to read held comments that could literally be offensive. And let me tell you, in a world that is overly sensitive, some of these were actually quite vile. You would have thought that I was truly a criminal because I dare say anything about this Clemson program. It's that bad. And to those people who took it too far, I was warning against this right here. You have 3 consecutive seasons now that you have 4 losses. And it's going to get worse this year. I know every team in college football is laughing and peeing their pajamas right now at Clemson football. Sure, of course. Tiger in the Burrows since 2013. I'm done spending money on Clemson football. Glad to be saving money, not going to watch football trash. Let me see. Bunch of people in here. Bunch of people in here. Ronnie Barbosa. Wasn't you one of the people that wanted Scott and Elliott gone? Then Goodman, sometime the players are not what they're supposed to be. I said that Scott and Elliott were a really good match together. I said that Elliott was not as effective as an OC when he and Scott were split apart. I'm having a hard time understanding this, and I just want to make sure that I properly address what you're asking or your statement, because there are different Clemson personalities, and maybe you got me mixed up with someone else. Those two complemented each other very, very well. Very well. Ireland and Bear, I hate we lost, but at the same time, at least coaches won't say we're back and found out our footing and it was just a rough start, etc. Yeah, exactly. Because that's not the truth. The truth is Clemson is not good. And just this morning, before the game kicked off, we still had Clemson fans trying to figure out how Clemson could back their way into an ACC championship. And I was sitting there going, listen, to each their own. To each their own. But I say this with as much kindness as I can say it without just being a jerk. And I'm really not trying to be a jerk. But I do want to say this. That is unrealistic. There is nothing about this football team that says that they need to go to the ACC championship because they don't deserve it, and they didn't deserve it last year. They didn't. And look what that did to them. It gave them a false sense of confidence. It gave them a false sense of who they are. Instead of troubleshooting and going, hey guys, last year, every time we played a really good football team, we lost. And SMU, if you went and you looked at their schedule last year, they were not a bad football team, but they were not Georgia. They were not Texas. They were not South Carolina. And not to dog on Coach Sweeney, but remember, just the week right before Syracuse, Coach Sweeney told us, if you're sick of winning, I will leave. And then he lost to Syracuse by double digits. At one time, they were down by 20 points. Folks, I am telling you, and you know me, I'm not trying to go after anyone. I'm not trying to slander anyone. I'm not trying to be just a jerk. But here's the truth. That statement let me know that this Clemson team, this coaching staff, the ones who are the leaders, the ones who are staying at Clemson while players are coming in and graduating, going to the NFL or becoming, something else, doing something else, which is very common. Not everybody's going to make it to the big leagues. I get that. But that statement let me know that they truly believe that when you talk about Ohio State and you're talking about Georgia and you're talking about teams like that, they believe that Clemson should be mentioned in there, but they don't have the results to back it up. And that's why when he said that week, he made that statement, I went, this is not going to turn out good. And then right after that, Syracuse did what they did. You're off for a week, and then you go play two of the worst college football teams away. You come back home, you lose again. If there's one thing that is perfectly clear, winning is over at Clemson until significant changes happens. And I agree with you, Ireland and Bear. Gold will be $220,000 on an ounce before we get more rings. I would just buy and hold. I'll buy and hold. That's what I'll do. Just go long. We'll be fine. Jordan Jackson, supporter of the channel. Never would have guessed this outcome of this season. Inexcusable. Thanks for keeping it real. You say what most non-cult members think. Thank you, Jordan Jackson. I made this comment. Me and one of my family members, who is a huge Clemson fan. If there's a big Clemson game, he's been to it. He's been to it. He and I were talking before this season. We were hanging out. He was like, "Man, we're getting close to the season." And he goes, "This could be special, but I'm not going to talk about national championship, anything like that. But with this roster coming back, it could be special." And I said, if they lose 3 games, he goes, it would be catastrophic. And I said, and I like that, and I've adopted that. I really liked how he said that. If you lose 3 regular season games with this roster, it is a catastrophic failure. You've lost 4 games. Sad. Brian Rodriguez, cringe. EA's asking, why is Will Sweeney on the staff? My key takeaways, Vizina is decent. We have 0 running game. Sheffley 22 or 21. It's good to see you. You've been on the money with a lot of taste for this program this year and the past handful of years, and you're not afraid to say what's going on with our program that a lot of us are scared to admit. You know why you're scared to admit it, Crypt Y2 or YT? You know why a lot of people's been scared too? Because they're the Clemson fans would tell them that they were bad fans. And even Coach Sweeney alluded to 2 years ago, there was 1.5% of the fan base that were bad. And you didn't want to be lumped into the 1.5%. And you didn't want to be someone who seemed unappreciative for winning. But folks, I will tell you this right now. Anytime someone I don't football, remember, football is just a speck on the windshield of my life. I love it. I have this channel, but if you know me in real life, in my everyday life, I have a lot more important things going on that I truly take serious. I'm having fun here complaining about Clemson fun or football. I'm having a lot of fun with this. I'm annoyed, but I'm having fun, and we're all venting. We're having a good time. We're annoyed, but we're still kind of having a good time, you know? But I have found, whether it's something that doesn't matter, like a hobby like this, or if it's something serious, anytime someone shames you for telling the truth, and it's actually the truth, not your truth, but the truth, you need to tell it even more, because there's something to it. There's something to it. This is so bad. Dabo fixed the rush in the field problem by not winning a game. Nicholas Powell. It's fantastic. Wes Anthony's in here. Everybody, my son walked in here, my young one. Of course, I don't put him on screen, but I thought something was wrong, and I just muted my mic just to check on him, make sure everything's okay. Knuckles, love you, buddy. Wes Anthony says defense and O-line let us down today. Vizina did enough to win the game, but his O-line played like they have all year, which is bad. You're 100% right. Just take more shots down the field, too. Don't want to have to hold on to the ball for a long time. Just take more shots down the field. I trust a 50-50 ball to a 6'5" wide receiver who is just thrilled to be at the FBS level, you know? Zane Spence, what's up, Brian? I love your channel. I was just wanting to get your thought on Christopher Vizina on next year. I'll hold any comment about him until I see what we do with our coaching staff. And that's how I feel. I think that there's some good things there with him. He's tall. He can move. But he has been in this system, and they have not developed him. And the play calling is just, you can't protect him. There's really no running game. I'm afraid to say too much. You know what I'm saying? He still passed for over 300 yards today. He didn't do terrible. Jackson Brazel, $2 donation. Thanks for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. Said this year is a complete wash for SC and Clemson. Yeah. Yep. South Carolina's only score today was a drive that was sustained by 3 major flags thrown. And they got down inside the 1-yard line and almost didn't punch it in. They even pulled Sellers into a shotgun, like he wasn't up under center, and all he has to do at 6'3", 230 pounds is just fall forward. He's in the end zone. They didn't do that. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, there is a problem with play calling that goes to a illogical place. And I told South Carolina fans that Dowell Loggins was part of the magic of last year. But you know what? I've learned this with making predictions. I've learned this with making predictions, folks. If you are willing to endure some ridicule for some amount of time and you'll just stick to your guns, as long as it's real. Now, if someone proves to me I'm wrong, I'm going to go, you know what? I was wrong. Not if I was wrong. I can't stand it when someone apologizes. They go, if I was wrong. You were dead wrong. What do you mean if? You still have a little pride left in you there. You need to have a little more humility. Hey, guys, I was wrong. I misread this. Maybe this is a growing moment for me. But if I'm right, I'm gonna stick to my guns. And you have to put up with trash talk. You have to put up with the bad comments. You have to put up with, and you just sit there and you go, just breathe and give it a moment. Because that intuition tells you this is not going to end well. South Carolina is missing Dowell Loggins right now. Good to see you, Jackson Brazel. Thank you so much. Armando, coaching is by far our biggest issue, and it's not even close. 22 alumni here been downhill since we lost OSU in 2021. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Talent evaluation is a big problem. Boom. You nailed it. Castellano's other glove. Fire Riley to not be prepared to go big in the transfer portal, just be competitive in 2026. Maybe. Why aren't they playing Trent Pearman? I don't think that Vizina did terrible, but I do get what you're saying. We saw Denson jog out there for one mysterious play. We need Eric Morris. Rude dude in here. I think I know who you're talking about. Because it looked good. Bet it's going to be better play and call it. Let me see. Let me see. A lot of people in here. I love this one. How about we select a random fan in a lottery system to call the plays each week? Oh my God. Yes. And you get to call your plays. That's the thing. I would go up. I'll tell you this. I would be up in the booth if I'm calling offense. And I'd just start calling them. And then you would find out if the plays are being influenced. You would find out real quick. Oh my goodness, in here. This is crazy. It's fantastic. Crypto, our entire team looks pedestrian. Love your content. Thanks, Crypto YT. Thanks for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It really does. Everyone, and listen, I want to tell this to everyone who's watching me right now. There's a bunch of you in here right now. A lot of you in here right now. Thank you for watching the channel, even if you haven't subscribed, which, by the way, is free. I hope you'll do, and you'll pass it along. And then everyone who's doing like that, supporting the channel with a donation, that's very kind of you. I'm independent, y'all. There's no one here. It's me setting up this and posting the video and creating the thumbnail. There's no team. I is the team. Yes, I know that's improper grammar for... Yes. Do you get what I'm saying? I appreciate it. For everyone who's joined on a monthly basis, it's a really small amount of money. If you want to do that, check that out. I appreciate that as well. It means a lot to me. Hey, we're all miserable together, but we're having fun. We're having fun. This is a very interesting one. Spiller has to go. He was done when he let Lynn J. Dixon transfer. I don't know the ins and outs on that, and I know people has talked about what happened to Lynn J. after he left. I appreciate Spiller. The guy is C.J. Spiller. Unbelievable player in Clemson history and seems like a really nice guy. But something wasn't right there, and I knew it right off the bat. And I'm going to stop right there because I don't know the entire story. But There's something going on. Cooper, can we make a bowl, please? And Cooper, I don't mean this rude to you. We don't need to make a bowl. That would be a consolation prize for subpar performance. You know? Hire James Franklin. Man. Our secondary is absolutely atrocious. Good to see you, Chris. It's coaching. Steven Dabo only goes to church when he wins. Fact. Really? Huh. I don't know. SMU is not a great football team. Yep. Zane Smith, Spence. I'll just say this: he did much better than what I thought he was going to do, and they did. Christopher did not. Christopher was really not the reason that Clemson lost this game at all. I think if they'd let him sling it downfield a little more, and the defense would have got to stop, they'd have won the ball game. Now, I'm not saying that means that he should be the leader of the football team, because he has a lot of things that needs to be fixed. But then again, on this football team, there's a ton of things that needs to be fixed on the field, and most importantly on the sideline, because that eventually comes back to what's the product on the field. Ruby Ridge is being such a antagonistic person. Oh my God. Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. We will give entire retirement fund for new coaches, excluding Dabo Allen and offensive line coach. Josh, thanks for supporting the channel. That's funny. That is funny, my man. It is good to see you. Thank you for supporting the channel. That's awesome, dude. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of people will know what is going on here. Tons of people in here. All right. Folks, there's a ton of you in here. This video's been going for about an hour. Do you want a call-in show tonight? I'm taking requests. I would start another video and open up the phone lines. In fact, I may end up doing that tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do. Second Take says, Clemson still plays football? Well, I tell you this, folks. In this life, with things that are serious, football's not a serious deal. It's not serious. Even if you're playing or coaching it, yeah, it's pretty important too, because it's your livelihood. You know, it's part of your future. And yes, it teaches you lessons and so on. There's a lot of things that teaches you lessons. But overall in life, whether it's something really serious or whether it's something like football, like a hobby, whatever, you face bad times, you face good times. And this is a life lesson here. Y'all just hang with me here. You face these problems for a variety of reasons. But I think we could pretty much narrow it down to two main sections. Either stuff just happens and it happens. We've seen stuff like that happen, whether it's in real life with something that is important, or whether it's in sports and it's your favorite team. I think we could all agree on that. And then on the other side, there are self-inflicted wounds. Maybe it's an unconscious mistake. Maybe it's some poor decisions, or maybe it was downright premeditated. You went and did something stupid. You knew it was stupid, but for some reason you hit your head hard enough to not care. And now you're left with a mess. Either way, it's a mess. And when you are trying to fix a problem, whether something serious or whether it's your favorite football team, you have to be extremely honest with yourself. Am I right? Okay. For those of you who don't want to fix the problem, no, you can lie to yourself. But to troubleshoot something, whether you're a mechanic troubleshooting an engine, whether you're someone building something that takes a lot of detail, you're figuring out in a really difficult math problem, all the way to baking something, whatever it may be that takes attention to detail, and you have to, you can't just go off script. You have to troubleshoot, and troubleshooting takes honesty and a willingness to accept that the problem is the problem, even if it insults you and points the finger right back at you and goes, you were the one who did this, whether consciously or unconsciously or totally maliciously did it. But now that we have that out of the way, we now know what the problem is. Now it's time to move forward. You cannot move forward if you don't accept what was done, consciously or unconsciously, maliciously or not. You cannot fix it unless you completely and totally own it. Now, if you didn't create the problem, you don't own it. I have various opinions on people who, when they're like, well, you know, it may be your responsibility. Yes, but if someone else is creating the problem, it's my responsibility to point out they're the one creating the problem. They need to go. But I'm going to say this, and I mean this. I mean this. That the problem that has to be fixed in Clemson, yes, it's a sport. Yes, it's a pastime. No, it's not my livelihood. But if you want to fix it, you're going to have to come to some very, very difficult truths. And a lot of that truth is going to come back to Coach Sweeney going, hey, you might have, I don't believe that Coach Sweeney was trying to undermine Clemson football. I think that he was like, hold on, these guys know how I like to run things. They know what I will put up with and what I won't put up with. And you know what? I see some good in them. And he gave too many first-timers, too many former players, too many former whatever relationships that he had. He gave them his prized possession. And all while everyone knows his talking points, all while all of them even probably believes it, and they're trying. Unfortunately, their skill level is not there. And the only fix is he's going to have to step back, hire the right people, and allow them to bring in their people as long as they're qualified. No more friends. We can't have friends and family while you're trying to fix things. Yeah. You got to bring in the right coaches, and then you have to let them do their job. And the only time you step in is if something is wrong. But you let them do their job because you trust their hire. You trust your hire. And that's the only way that things here with Clemson is going to be fixed. And by the way, maybe you're a young person and you're watching this. That's how you fix things in life too. You have to be honest with yourself, because some of the most unsuccessful people I've met, people who find themselves always they're always in a problem. They're always on the down and out. They're always this, they're always that. It's people who lie to themselves and don't want to accept their actual role in whatever the problem is. Sometimes, again, somebody did something to you, or it's something just kind of happened and it just happened. Okay. But what happens when you are the one who has to go, that's on me? Then the next step is, now what's the proper step to fix it? And that is in life in general. And that's where we're at with Clemson football. And folks, I'm going to tell you this. I'm having a hard time believing that Coach Sweeney is going to overhaul this team and allow his coaches to do the new hires, make the right hires, and do what he hired them to do. And the reason I have a hard time believing that is there's just something that it's almost like he's holding on to an idea that the record is showing him it's not working. Losing 4 out of the last 5 home games is showing that it's not. You used to, dude, when I went to the South Carolina Clemson game in 2022 and Clemson lost that football game, that was the first time Clemson had lost at home in years. Now it's nothing for them to lose at home. These statistics, they're the telltale. They're the telltale, my friend. It's nuts. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let me see. Got Midlands in here. Good to see you. Got Trey Stevens. Let Vizina play and start the rest of the year. Playing Kate at this point has no benefit to the future. Dean 2900 says, Misery loves company. Do a call-in show. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting the channel. I do appreciate it. All right, folks. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm not going to make a promise I can't keep. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to see I'm going to try to figure out if I can do a call-in show. And the reason I'm saying that's because it's getting later. Long story short, my oldest, I was out of town last night at a concert in Charlotte. My wife called me and said, hey, I think we're going to have to take the oldest to the emergency room to get stitches. He and one of his buddies, they were playing football after church last night. And they ended up headbutting each other so bad he needed 15 stitches in the corner of his eye. Now, he did tell me the good news. And as he's telling me the story, I was like, how did this happen again? Well, we were playing football. And he goes through it. He's like, I did intercept it and take it to the house. He said, and then once I scored, I realized I'm hurt pretty bad. I got blood all over me. So good for him that he got the pick 6. But the 15 stitches is so I didn't get in bed till like 2:30 this morning, and then woke up early. And y'all, I'm kind of feeling it. So I'm going to try to figure out if I'm going to do a call-in show tonight or maybe do it at another time. Let me get a feel for it. I'm not going to promise you, but if you see me go live and it says call-in show, guess what? It is. It's a call-in show. Folks, listen to me. I hope you will subscribe to this show. There's 259 of you who has stayed in here forever. Forever. You've been hanging with me for a while. I hope you'll subscribe. It is free. Pass it along to your friends. Pass it along in the forums. Pass along on Facebook. And then check out my other channel, Another College Football Podcast, where I talk about other college football teams. I love it. I love it. Love college football. And I do appreciate y'all being here. Y'all take care of yourself, and as always,